In this video, I'll be reviewing how I made $3,000 in one night sports betting and showing you exactly how you can do this too. And tonight, most of my profits came on two different apps, Flip and Dabble. Now, the number one most important thing I did when placing bets on these apps was make sure that every single bet I placed had an edge. And before I show you the recipe to finding an edge on these different books like Flip and Dabble, let me review some of the winners that I had from last night. Here's just a handful of the Flip wins from last night, but every single one of these bets was given out for free on X or Twitch at twitch.tv/sportsbydustin. You'll notice that basically all of these were 2 to 3 leg parlays and we cashed them out. This is a plus 574, plus 230. We have another plus 500, plus 442, and plus 273. Now I'm parlaying these because I am compounding the edge that I am getting on each individual bet by parlaying them. I gave out maybe 3 or 4 dabble slips yesterday, and 2 of them actually ended up hitting for 6x. Like I mentioned before, I make sure that every single bet I place has an edge, and I do that by using a website called Daily Grind Fantasy that helps me compare sportsbooks lines and odds directly back to apps like Prizepicks, Underdog, Flip, and other DFS apps / sweepstakes sportsbooks. This website allows us to quickly and efficiently find which book or DFS app is so off from the market on their projection or odds and get those plays in before they bump it, aka securing great value. Also aka finding a bet with an edge, which means if you place it over and over and over again over the long term, you are going to be profitable playing that bet. Let me dive into an example from one of the parlays I hit last night. And this is the parlay we'll be talking about. Now, each and every leg in this parlay had an edge individually, but I just put them in a parlay together to compound that edge, as I mentioned before. But we're going to look into this DeMar DeRozan over 3.5 assist line at minus 105 and show you what I was looking at on Daily Grind Fantasy that told me this was a bet with an edge and to play it. This is a screenshot from the Daily Grind Fantasy Flip Optimizer, and you can see that it was recommending to take the over on DeMar DeRozan's assist at 3.5. And if we look across the sportsbook market, which is what we're doing when we're using Daily Grind Fantasy, scanning the sportsbook market to find good value on whatever app is offering it at a better price or projection, right? If we look across, they're all at 3.5 assists, so there's no difference in the projection from these different sportsbooks comparing to Flip. But the difference is in the odds. We can see that Flip, we are getting this at minus 105 odds, when the rest of the entire sportsbook market has this average odds of about minus 128. And basically what that means is that these 7 sportsbooks all agree this has a better chance to hit than what Flip believes it does. Based on how they are pricing these odds, these sportsbooks believe this has about a 3.5% chance better to hit than what Flip does. Daily Grind Fantasy makes it so easy to find plays with an edge because if you just look at this, it makes total sense. Flip is clearly way off from the rest of the market with their odds if you just simply look at the odds all these different sportsbooks have and then look at Flip. Now let's pretend we're placing that DeMar DeRozan example as a straight bet. A $100 wager on a minus 105 odds play would profit you $95. But if we took it at the market average of minus 128 odds, a $100 wager would only profit you $78. You get an extra $17 in profit just by scanning the market, line comparing, and finding where you can get the best possible odds. But not only $17 extra in profit, but the confidence when placing that wager that 7 other sportsbooks all agreed this had a better chance to hit than what Flip was pricing it at, so you know you were getting good value. And not to mention, these sportsbooks are in the business of making money off their customers, so it's in their best interest to set these lines and odds as accurately as possible. Flip was just lagging behind the rest of the market, and we were able to snipe that value. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. Find whatever book is so far off and snipe it, baby. And here's another example from a play that hit last night. Kamara over 4.5 rebounds. I'm not even sure if that's how you pronounce his name, but that's the beauty in this type of sports betting where you are just trusting data, trusting math, and playing plays that have a mathematical edge. You don't need to know anything about these players or teams in order to do this. All I know is there was an edge in this play, so I played it. Not the biggest edge, but an edge at least, right? Over 4.5 at minus 115 on Flip. The rest of the sportsbook market, these 6 sportsbooks, had average odds of about minus 136. Flip was clearly off in this situation, so we played it. And now looking live on Flip, the optimizer, we can see that Tanner Hudson's at 8.5 receiving yards at minus 125. You have 2 data points giving this minus 161 and minus 153 to the under of 8.5 receiving yards. So there is some good value, a 4% edge when comparing to those 2 books, But as always, the more data points, the better. If we had 4 different books here, I would trust this even more. But that's where it comes into kind of knowing a little bit about the sports books and which books you trust more in which markets. So, I mean, I like Pinnacle and I like Bet Online. They're pretty sharp books when it comes to these player props. So I would like to take this Tanner Hudson under 8.5 receiving yards still, even though there's only 2 data points. But look at this, Sam Reinhart, under 2.5 shots on goal. We're getting plus money at plus 115 on Flip. The rest of the market, you have what? Is that like 7, 8 different sports books all have this plus 100 or higher. So not true plus money that we're getting on Flip, right? So we're getting a good value play, almost a 1% edge on that. And you have plenty of data points that you can trust when placing this bet. And I use this same exact strategy when finding plays on Prizepicks or even Dabble, as I mentioned earlier, which I cashed out on yesterday. If you do want access to Daily Grind Fantasy, I will leave a link down in the description below, but if you use code DustinDGF14, you will get 25% off your very first month. They even have this tool called the AI Slip Generator that uses line comparing technology to scan the sportsbook market, just as I showed you guys, and then builds out full slips for you. All you have to simply do is reveal the slip and tail. It's up over 2,200 units since it launched on 8/18 of 2023. Now, the AI Slip Generator is a separate tool and a little bit more expensive than the optimizers that I was just showing you guys earlier in this video, but it is super convenient when trying to get these slips in and beat the bumps because it cuts out the middle work where you're having to manually scan the odds screen or do any type of research yourself. You are just simply tailing these slips in just 30 seconds or less. And you can know and trust that you're getting long-term profitable value in your slips because it's using line comparing technology, as I showed you earlier in this video as well. I would never be able to get in this value and make $3,000 in one night sports betting if I didn't have a tool like Daily Grind Fantasy to spot that value for me, because otherwise I would never know when these plays hit the board or even exist. And like any investment, if you actually want to make money sports betting, you have to put money in to get money out. So I promise investing in these tools is something you will need to do if you actually want to take this seriously and make money. Think of this as like a side hustle or even trading stocks to make money, but it's a lot more fun because it's sports betting. Who wouldn't want to make extra money sports betting? Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you guys learned something, and if you did, make sure you guys drop a like on this video and subscribe on the way out, as well as I post sports betting content like this every single week.